With new animation movies coming out every year, it's exciting to see what new stories are being told. But as of late, the excitement of seeing a new animation has dwindled. That could just be because we were kids when the first animated movies were coming out of theaters, and the child wonders what made them so fascinating. But I believe that that's not childish wonder that made these movies so great, but that they were great just on their own, and as the animations coming out that are the problem. Let's start off by looking at old favorites and seeing what made them as popular as they were. For example, Toy Story, Iron Giant, or Kung Fu Panda. All these movies were well beloved, but while the animation is not bad in these movies, it's nothing compared to some of the animation like the new Spider-Man movies or even the graphics in the new Kung Fu Panda movie, even though that one didn't do so well, which has an amazing amount of detail and design. So it wasn't just the animations that made them so popular, but instead the stories themselves and their uniqueness. Toy Story was the first movie to be 3D animated, and it inspired so many other stories to be animated that way, like Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon, which are both incredible movies. But Toy Story was also something a lot of kids could relate to, because all kids had favorite toys and that they would pretend were real. It also had a message kids could relate to, especially older siblings who are having trouble sharing the spotlight with their younger sibling. For example, Woody has trouble sharing the spotlight with Buzz after Buzz goes into the spotlight as the new favorite toy. So Toy Story did a good job hitting its target demographic. Now let's take a look at movies that tried to copy Toy Story but make it appeal to teenagers. I'm talking about the Emoji Movie from 2017. You can see from the graph below that this movie is not beloved. This movie explores the life of emojis and phones, and this makes sense because in 1959, when Toy Story was released, toys were really big with kids, but in 2017, when Emoji Movie was released, tech was on the rise. With new iPhones and teens everywhere having a phone with them, they tried to relate to teens by using emojis. And really, no one asked them to do this. It did not make sense at all. The humor was forced and not funny.
Hello, good simians. Those are some sharp attachés.
Yes, well, we have business to attend to.
What kind of business?
Monkey business.
And this was not to mention that the character's Jailbreak felt a lot like a knockoff of Wildstar from the Lego Movie. And the Lego Movie was way more popular than the Emoji Movie. The Lego Movie was way more popular than the Emoji Movie, and it did a better job at connecting to kids, because every kid had Legos. The animation of the Emoji Movie, on the other hand, was good and way nicer to look at, while Toy Story was kind of blocky, and you could tell it's getting old. Well, what about 2D animations? I've been talking about 3D animations, so let's turn and look at the 2D animations that have recently been made. Iron Giant is rather old, but it covered darker themes in a way that didn't talk down to the audience, such as death and the struggles of being a single parent with a troublesome child. I also showed the struggles of a kid trying to find a sense of belonging, community, and making friends, even if that friend is a giant robot that was originally a weapon.
You stay. I go.
This is again a lesson kids really like too well as adults. The animation is good and aged well and was insanely popular when it came out. Now what about modern day 2D animations? Well, the most modern 2D animation was the movie Wish, which is okay at best, because it was basic plot with bland characters and copy and paste stereotypes. Now this was intentional, and they purposely used old stereotypes and references to old Disney classics, because the movie Wish was Disney's 100-year anniversary movie. And this could have been perfectly fine, in fact amazing if done correctly. Winnie the Pooh and the Jungle Book both used some of the same animation frames in the same movie because everything was hand-drawn and it was easier to animate that way. But if Disney wanted to reference its classics, then it should have gone way back to its original movies, such as Bambi, or The Jungle Book, or Robin Hood, or even The Emperor's New Groove. These were all good classics. Instead, they went the route of referencing the princesses, which have a history of being outdated and often misogynistic. Even so, the modern Disney princesses had a lot more control and bigger roles in the movies, so there's definitely evolution between the two. And for the little bit, Disney did a good job of making princesses independent, such as the movie Brave, Princess and the Frog, and Mulan. But Wish was about Disney's classics, and celebrating its origin. The character Asha felt a lot like Mirabelle from Encanto, or even Rapunzel from Entangled, which neither are classics and in fact rather modern, so if they were going with nostalgic movies, they didn't do a good job. Again, the animation was stunning, and it was incorporated some 3D animation in it as well. But the story is what really lost me. They were really cliche characters. A quirky girl sets out to face a big problem with her animal sidekick and learns about the power of friendship. Okay, so we've looked at 3D animation and modern 3D animation, and then we looked at old 2D animation and newest 2D animation. These movies were made by big companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, and DreamWorks, all of whom had a lot of money and big budgets. And don't get me wrong, I don't think all the new movies are terrible. Like when the Emoji Movie came out, Boss Baby came out too. And this movie actually had humor, and again had a story that could connect to kids. I'm simply saying that a bad animated movie doesn't mean bad animation, it means bad story, meaning that the actual story of the movie is more important than the animation.